Regular session. Jackie, roll call.
Kristen Bailey. Here. Nick Atwood.
Here.
Steve Byers.
Here.
Jose Jaquez.
Here.
Christopher Boyce.
Here.
Mark Charvat.
Here.
Dante Bynum. Maria Rodriguez. Here.
We'll now do the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Next item will be public comment. Members of the public who wish to speak to the board should complete a request card prior to the start of the meeting. This section of the meeting will be reserved for comments from the public. All comments should be limited to 3 minutes. Our first one is Scott Osterlin.
You have to go over there.
Excuse me. I have to give me feedback if the microphone works or not. My name's Scott Osterlin, I'm from Founders. I had the opportunity to look at the video from the last meeting and to read through the minutes, or the proposal. It's being set forth for basically of the elementary schools throughout the district. And that it's tucked into the proposal, the approval for the ELDC that was put forth. My question is, why was there nothing done to the public? Has there been due diligence done with regard to the public? You're talking about, this proposes redistricting. There's one proposal of record before the board, and there's been no work done on it that I'm aware of that's been presented. Any type of, anything from architects, cost analysis, other ideas for where to put, instead of breaking up the largest elementary in the district. That there's only one proposal, that's unheard of. How do you do that? With one idea without getting other input? I'm just amiss. I don't understand how that can be legal, public funds justifying a referendum. So it doesn't have to go to the public. And you got parents, students, everybody involved, and no one's got a voice. Doesn't seem plausible. It's public funds. They're paying the taxes, why can't they have a voice? Why does it have to be rushed through and put under another bill or under another proposal for the ELDC building? It doesn't make any sense. It's not transparent in any way, shape, or form. I'd just like to know why and what is done to what will be done to rectify it, to make it transparent so everybody's aware of where their dollars are being spent, and staff, students, teachers, everybody should be, or teachers, parents should be involved. Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. Do something affecting them without. I just like some answers as to why it's being done the way it's being done. And it seems to be slipped under without notice. That's all. Just a little clarity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gloria Diaz.
Oops, I'll get that. Hello, D428 community and board members, leadership. I did have a request and question, but that was kindly answered already by leadership in the back, so thank you.
Thank you. Denise Osterlin.
It's Australian.
Alright. Good evening. My name is Denise Osterlin, and I am a 4th grade two-way dual language teacher at Founders Elementary School. I want to begin by expressing my full support for building a new school to house ELDC and for reducing middle school class sizes to 30 students as outlined in the Vision 428 plan presented at the October 21st school board meeting. The reason I am here tonight is to ensure that Founders Elementary has a voice in the rest of the project. Our school was not represented at the October 21st presentation, and I want to bring attention to the more than 500 students and 100 staff members who make up our community. While our building may not be considered an ideal elementary school setup, we are deeply committed to supporting our students' social, emotional, and academic growth. Our staff includes many veteran educators who bring years of expertise, as well as several new teachers who contribute fresh ideas and energy. Together and under our new leadership, we have worked hard to build a strong sense of community. As stated in our staff-created mission statement, we as a Founders community believe everyone belongs. We foster a culture of respect and care, valuing individuals from all backgrounds. Together, we are committed to making our school a safe and welcoming environment where everyone has the courage to thrive. I respectfully ask that you consider this proposal, you involve our entire community, teachers, parents, staff, administration, in the decision-making process beyond the construction of the new ELDC building. All stakeholders deserve to be part of the conversation and the vision for our district's future. In closing, I urge you to recognize the dedication, resilience, and potential of our school community, and to ensure that our voices are heard as we move forward together in building a stronger future for all students. Thank you.
Thank you.
Steve Odie.
Yeah, just wanted to take a minute for the board, just to support ELDC. I'm coming from a lot of different backgrounds as a staff member, as a parent of a student who has gone through the ELDC, a spouse who works at the ELDC. I fully support the idea of actually having a dedicated building to our pre-K program for those students. I think it's going to be a huge commitment to our community, to students who may not be best served in other situations. And I just wanted to voice my support for the building of the new ELDC.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Ashley, can I have your document that you read from? Would you mind if I kept that copy?
No, that's fine. It's a little messy
What you-
because I wrote on it.
Sorry.
There's some scribbles.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Keith Cameron.
Hello, I'm just going to be blunt. I think that basically, as of this point in time, I have no respect for anybody on this board because I don't think you have respect for the community. Because what you have done is you have housed a very popular idea with an unpopular idea. And you have not at all approached the community about it. You are asking people to sign on board with something that they want versus something that is supposed to reduce student load in classes from 35 to 30. That is the definition to me of someone who is asking me to sign on to something without actually asking me to participate in the decision. And then you are couching it again, as I have stated, with a popular idea that I support, with an unpopular idea of rearranging the schools. That is ridiculous. This reminds me of a terrible TV show that I love to watch right now, which is called Love is Blind. You're asking us to sign on to an agreement without actually seeing anything, no details. So yes, I am comparing you to one of the most sloppiest Netflix shows at this point in time, because that is the treatment that I feel like you are giving the community. And I'm glad some people are taking notes. One person in particular I can already see is not. And that is disturbing to me, that I am talking to you, and you are not even acknowledging me. Much like I don't feel acknowledged by this plan. Face the facts, the community is growing, the community is expanding, and again, you have housed a popular idea with an unpopular one, and you have not included the community in the decision-making. For all the people here who support the new building, I agree with you. But you want me to sign on to something else and make me the villain because there's an unpopular idea that I don't agree with. That's atrocious. I don't agree with it. I don't respect it, and I don't think it is the correct decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Hearing all of public comment, we'll now move on to board correspondence. Does anyone have any correspondence for the board? So I guess, Kristen.
I don't know if this is the time to ask this, but I am extraordinarily confused. I was not of the understanding that the vision for 28 was part of the decision that we are approving and the proposal for the ELDC, but that it was an intention. And that, so I guess I'm asking for clarification.
So to
I had a very
clarify-
different understanding.
So based on, I think, what you're asking, so 6A is the resolution for us to commit funds to building ELDC, which is 6A.
Right.
7E is ELDC and Grade Centers reconfiguration. So they are two different agenda items. We are still committing funds if we vote to approve that for ELDC, and it is separate from the
But they're not
issue.
lumped together.
They are not.
That's, I just wanted to clarify that. Thank
They are
you.
their own agenda
Okay.
items. It's now the way they worded it makes it sound like, they're together, but it's just because ELDC being its technical own entity outside of the normal K through 12 is just its own standalone part of the reconfiguration.
Okay, and I wanted to clarify that that is only an information item tonight.
Correct.
That is not, we are not deciding on that.
Correct.
Okay, thanks.
So I guess, JJ, did you have something?
I was just gonna
Yeah.
specify what she asked about.
So the only thing that I would have for board correspondence, I guess, one thing really. JJ and I both got to go to the ISB division meeting that they held in St. Charles, was that 2 weeks ago now?
Yeah.
2 weeks ago. At that, I have been selected and was elected by the members of the Kishwaukee division to be one of our directors at large. So I now have within the Kishwaukee division an executive committee position, so that's a lot of fun. And then
Congratulations.
I actually felt that they had a very, very helpful session from the St. Charles School District, discussed how they've implemented their phone policy in collaboration with parents and students. And just the way they talked about it, it sounds like it's been very, very successful there. So I actually felt that I did gain a lot from going to that meeting.
Yeah, I did too. I was very surprised by some of their, the data that they brought up for after, the program. And the program's not much different than what we do in the school district now. But just the fact that they had follow-up data to talk about some of the social emotional growth that the students had outside of school stuff. Which was, it was pretty dramatic.
Alright. Do any of the adult board members have anything? Alright then, we'll go to student board correspondence. Maria.
Nothing crazy with the mini board right now, but I have the IASC Student Council Leadership Workshop coming up on Thursday. Very excited to hear about that. It's always been really fun when I've gone. Hopefully I would bring some of that and present it to the mini board and be like, hey, this is how we can be better leaders, and maybe we can do it to the middle schools or elementary. I don't know. I'm just excited for that. I really like that workshop.
Thank you.
Alright. Hearing nothing else, we'll move on to the consent agenda. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the consent agenda, items 5E through 5E, 10-6, 10-21 board minutes, personnel action items, purchase order requisitions, donation from St. Paul's Episcopal Church to Mitchell Elementary as presented. Do we have any questions about any items within the consent agenda before we vote on it?
A thank you to St. Paul's.
Absolutely.
Alright. So, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved. Second.
Jackie, roll call.
Nick Atwood,
Yes.
Steve Byers,
Yes.
Jose Jaquez,
Yes.
Christopher Boyce,
Yes.
Mark Servat,
Yes.
Kristen Bailey,
All right, we'll now move into old business. First, old business is item A, resolutions committing funds for ELDC facilities, constructions, and renovations. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the resolution for an early learning development center and committing certain property tax revenue as presented. This is an action item.
Quick, before we.
Mhm.
Got a couple questions. We have 26.2 million as part of the fund balance already collected, which is gonna be set aside upon the passage of this resolution. My question is, where will this money be invested so it can continue to grow while interest rates are higher. I want to see that this money is being invested as effectively as we can. I'm not sure if we're going to go with more of a long term until we have to start paying out on this, so we can grow the money and do better with it.
Correct. So once this is approved, we will commit this money so that it doesn't get mixed in with any operational fund, and we can actually lock it in for long-term investments. At that point, we would have a better idea when those construction funds will be dispersed, which will give us a better idea on when and where to start locking and making those funds liquid. So that is definitely the intention of it, and we have done this also with Mitchell, where when we knew when the disbursement of construction will be, we would unlock that. So.
We just need to ensure to the public that these funds are not gonna be touched, that they are gonna be dedicated exclusively to ELDC. To use my Al Gore, a lockbox, if you will, right? Okay,
Yep,
very good.
correct.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question, just a clarification more than anything else. The second document in the agenda item talks about ELDC, HMS, and future financial considerations, but it talks about the fact that we have to invest in HMS. As we discussed before with Kristen's comment, is that whatever we do to HMS in pulling ELDC out, it doesn't matter whether we have the what's for,
Reconfiguration.
no, the Vision 428 plan or not, we still have to do those. Whether it stays in middle school 6 through 8 or it goes to 7 and 8, we still have to make those fixes to get it back to where it was.
That is correct.
So I guess just my one last question. Just because I've noticed as we've looked at different documents, and I don't know, this might be a tag team between Tammy and Armir, is every time I feel like we've been presented ELDC in the last 4 months, the bottom line keeps just snaking up a little bit every time. I think it started at 38 million, then it was 40, now it's 42.8, so it just.
You're saying it's Tammy's fault?
No. I'm just.
It's okay, I can take the blame. We have looked at different variations of this, from 16 classrooms it started out, then it was the discussion potentially with Sycamore, so it was 16 plus 6, 20 plus 6, then we went to just 20, now we're at 24. So we are still waiting for an updated information from the architect as it relates to a 24 classroom building, because it's not just classrooms being added. When you have 4 more classrooms, that's additional support space that is needed for those additional students. So that information is being reviewed by administration to ensure that we do have the space allocation properly divided, so that we can get a proper quote to all of you, which is planned for if all goes as planned, but for the December meeting, we will have more accurate budget numbers as it relates to a 24 classroom ELDC.
Along with a timeline.
And the timeline, yes, all of that.
All right, nothing further.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Jackie, roll call.
Steve Myers,
Yes.
Jose Jaquez,
Yes.
Christopher Boys,
Yes.
Mark Sherbat,
Yes.
Kristen Bailey,
Yes.
Nick Atwood.
Yes.
All right. All right, and now if there's people who do not wish to sit through the rest of the board meeting, you are more than welcome to leave at this time. You're also more than welcome to go out and, talk in the hall, just keep it quiet, but
We're not ready to stop.
we'll
Make
move
sure.
on to item B, resolution to amend the 2023 debt certificate resolution to allow the purchase of the Mitchell Elementary School real estate. This is an action item. It is recommended the Board of Education approve this resolution as presented. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Jackie, roll call.
Jose Jaquez,
Yes.
Christopher Boys,
Yes.
Mark Sherbat,
Yes.
Kristen Bailey,
Yes.
Nick Atwood,
Yes.
Steve Myers.
Yes.
Item C, approval of SVPP COPS grant contract with Department of Justice, DOJ. It is recommended the board approve the grant contract and match funding for the School Violence Prevention Program, SVPP grant. This is an action item. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Jackie, roll call.
Christopher Boyce,
Yes.
Mark Schubert,
Yes.
Kristen Bailey,
Yes.
Nick Atwood,
Yes.
Steve Byers,
Yes.
Jose Jaquez.
Yes.
Item D, Kishwaukee College Agreement for Making the Connection, Illinois Cooperative Work-Study Program. Cooperative Work-Study Program, this is an action item. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the partnership agreement with Kishwaukee College for the grant-funded Illinois Cooperative Work-Study Program. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Jackie, roll call.
Mark Schubert,
Yes.
Kristen Bailey,
Yes.
Nick Atwood,
Yes.
Steve Byers,
Yes.
Jose Jaquez,
Yes.
Christopher Boyce.
Yes. Now moving into new business. Item A, student discipline, number 110425. This is an action item. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the expulsion and abeyance for student 110425 as presented. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Jackie, roll call.
Kristen Bailey,
Yes.
Nick Atwood,
Yes.
Steve Byers,
Yes.
Jose Jaquez,
Yes.
Christopher Boyce,
Yes.
Mark Schubert.
Yes.
Item B, DHS, CRMS, HMS Midwestern Region Corral Conference Student Travel Request. This is information and action due to the timing of the conference. This is presented to us by Principal Dr. Donna Larson.
Great, thank you and good evening. Thanks for prefacing that. I also have Dr. Shaw here, who is proud principal at Hunley Middle School. This is encompassing the excitement with students from the middle school as well as the high school. We have 27 DHS students and 7 middle school students. Mr. Boyer couldn't be here this evening. This is actually our largest group that made it this far in history, so that was really exciting. They will be attending the Midwest Regional American Choir Director or Choral Directors Association Conference. This is students that auditioned from 10 different states. 70% of our students that auditioned made it, so that was really exciting. So thank you for making this informational an action item. The fiscal impact, that is where the pending is occurring right here, especially with all the schools involved. It's $150 per student, which will be taken out of our D428 music accounts, $30 per day per student for meals. We're gonna look at activity accounts for that from DHS, and then $125 per student for hotels. So DHS music, the music boosters will be covering that piece. Any questions?
Just to, I guess, clarify real
Sure.
quickly, when you say $30 per day per student.
Ramen noodles.
So, yeah, I mean, are we expecting,
They love ramen
Yeah.
noodles, right?
that
They
just
love
seems like a
pizza.
very low,
They love pizza. Some of the
Oh,
things,
okay.
yeah, and some of the conference will cover different snacks and breakfast and things like that. So we won't let anybody go hungry
They
ever,
will not go
ever.
When did they qualify for it?
This just took place, maybe within the last month or so,
Okay, and then we need to.
so that we
the
can book
rush
the
is
rooms
for-
and things like
Okay.
that. So we
Makes
just,
sense.
yeah, we just found out. I think it was, that's why everything says pending as well. We wanted to make it happen, but yeah, we
Thank
gotta get the books or get it together. Yeah, get it booked, not the books. Any questions? All right, thank
hearing
you.
no other questions, it is recommended the Board of Education approve this request for the DHS, CRMS, HMS students to attend the Midwestern Region Corral Conference, February 25th through the 28th, 2026 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Jackie, roll call, please.
Kristen Bailey,
Yes.
Nick Atwood,
Yes.
Steve Byers,
Yes.
Jose Jaquez,
Yes.
Christopher Boyce,
Yes.
Mark Schubert.
Yes.
And item C, Illinois State Board of Education Maintenance Grant Application Fiscal Year 26, presented to us by Director of Facilities and Safety Operations, Tammy Carson.
Thank you. We are just asking for approval to apply for the school maintenance grant that is available to us in the amount of $50,000 matching funds. We have been awarded this grant at least 5 years, and the project we would tie this to upon approval of the bid results. And February, when I bring them forth, would be the Founder's Toilet Room renovation project that we are looking to complete next summer.
Any questions? All right.
I have a question.
Yes.
And I'm hesitant to bring it up,
Go ahead.
but we'll probably have an answer about the grade centers before this actually goes. So that it's just to get the money, because we know we have to do something, right? Either leave it the way it is, but update it or change it, right?
Regardless of the grade centers, the toilet rooms that I'm proposing that need renovations will still need to be done.
Okay.
And they will be renovated at a level, whether this is a K-5 or a 5-6, they will still be able to be utilized by those students.
Thank you.
All right, so this is an information item. Do we have consensus to bring this back?
Yes.
Thank
All
you.
right, item D, differential committee recommendations. This is an information item presented to us by Director of Human Resources, Deidre Salas.
Good evening. We had a differential committee meeting, and out of that meeting, these are the recommendations that are being brought forward. We have a number of positions that we are looking to take from discretionary and bring to the board for approval. Discretionary are funds that are allocated to the buildings, and the building fund those extracurricular activities. After they have run for at least a period of 2 years and have proven successful, we then bring it for board approval so that it comes off of the schools, comes off of the school's budget and becomes part of the board budget, so the school has more room available to bring on new types of extracurricular activities. We have sports that have proven successful in one season and looking to expand into another season that is for winter sideline cheer. And then we have some that we are seeking to adjust the number of coaches due to enrollment and or adjusting the pay based off of the amount of time commitment that it takes. The total cost is $29,750.39. Any questions? The discretionary are also listed there for you. That's information only. That's not for board approval.
For Girls on the Run.
Yes.
So that is an outside organization, correct?
It is sponsored by an outside organization, but we have coaches that are from within the
So
buildings.
does that organization reimburse the district for the cost? Because I guess when I was in Interact Club, or if there's a Key Club, or if there's any of those, Rotary, Kiwanis, Lions, whoever, is footing the bill for the fact that we have to pay someone to sponsor those organizations.
Not Girls on the Run.
So I guess, obviously it's here, so we feel it is a valid thing that we should do to support our students.
And it
Okay.
is very successful at the buildings. Over the years, it has increased participation as well as just the interest, so.
I'm a little unfamiliar with, I know what Girls on the Run does, but what does the organization give to the coaches that would require us to be part of their organization? Other than the name?
Well, it is the name, but also curriculum's not the right word, but
Training plans.
I'm sorry,
Training plans.
training plans or programming, yes.
That's a good word for it.
What's that?
Curriculum is a good word
Oh,
for it.
curriculum
There's
is a
lesson
good word.
plans, it's a whole book, it's a.
Okay,
Even more. Thank you.
thank you. Other questions?
Hearing no other questions, do we have consensus to bring this back?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to item E, ELDC and grade centers reconfigurations resolution. This is an information item presented to us by Amir Doka, Director of Business and Finance.
So we're bringing forward a resolution to the ALDC and grade centers reconfiguration. So when receiving the consensus to move forward with a new building for the early childhood without the need to go into a referendum, we wanted to also authorize the construction of this, put it into writing, basically formalizing it, the new 24 classroom early learning center, and related improvements to grade reconfiguration to existing buildings. This is all part of the Vision 428. This initiative directly addresses the growing needs for our youngest learners, but also continues to reduce class size and open up more classroom space at the middle school level. So we're providing the board a formal resolution to determine this outcome, and we will be bringing forward more information on planning, designing, financials, and programmatic changes on grade configuration as well. So, any questions?
I guess I'm just gonna follow up real quickly, because I just wanna make sure I'm feeling like reading this now. I misspoke earlier in the board meeting.
Okay.
So the construction of ELDC is tied in with this reconfiguration based on how I'm reading this. So I did misspeak. when I said that they were separate then, correct?
The financial was a different resolution.
So I guess I'm just gonna be straightforward. I do agree with what they're saying. I don't know that those should be bundled together. I'm still in full support of both of them, to be clear, but I don't know that it makes sense that they're the same thing. We can build an ELDC without doing the rest.
So, we just, for clarification. So the clarification purpose is that the vision for 428 includes the expansion of the district so that it encompasses our youngest children all the way through to our secondary students that need the additional space. So Vision 428 is about what that whole facility and programmatic looks. So
Yeah.
it's the plan that we're putting into place. How we break that down depending on what funding we have available, and then how it will then be scaffolded into being, as well as how it will be paid, will be separate. So one isn't contingent upon the other, right? But the plan, the grand plan is, the vision of it is to make sure that at some point over the next few years, that this is the opportunity that we get to be able to do that expansion so that we can lower class size at the middle school. And as part of that could be a 5, 6, 7, 8 grade centers.
So again, to go back to what Chris said earlier in the meeting, is that what we passed earlier today was to fund the building of a new ELDC. That's done. And now, Amir's bringing us a proposal to say that along with building the ELD, we would like to do these other things as well. And we want to do the research to figure out how to do it, what it's going to look like.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, take public comment and public concerns into play and all of that stuff. But whatever happens with how we vote on this in 2 weeks, the LDC decision's done, right? Okay.
So I want to make sure that we're all on the same understanding, yes? So everybody just feel comfortable making sure that I'm going through this appropriately. The purpose of the funding is initially for ELDC. However, funding for additional changes into the HMS, into everything else, is also using the same funding style that we would like to be able to do. If we are successful in being able to fund ELDC and the changes and making sure that building is whole, then we would like to continue that same process to be able to build out the rest of the plan. Now, that's not to say we have decided what that looks like. That just says that we would like permission, permission to be able to move forward, to be able to plan that, right? Because we are still very, very early on in just understanding that if we do not get an approval to allow us to move forward, we can't bring together architects and construction managers to talk to us about it, because there are fees associated with that. We want to make sure that we're giving the opportunity to be able to build out that plan, be able to show what that looks like, and bring it back before the board. And the plan is that we would be able to, as Tammy mentioned earlier, take a look at what the architect brings forth with cost and a time frame for all of those things as a part of Envision 428, so that we can do that and plan for it in the future.
Is there any possibility we can decouple the two rather than, so that public can have more input on the new plan? I would really like to. I was talking to my neighbor the other day, they just heard about this, and they're like, what's going on with the schools? And I had to kind of explain, they're like, we didn't know anything about this. I think people should be given more time to partake in the process.
Okay, so I wasn't ready for that, to be honest with you, right? So I'm not saying no, that isn't a possibility. I just don't know what that looks like right now, right? So I think I need some opportunity to be able to figure out what that looks like and be able to bring it back to the board, right? For discussion or for information so we can move forward, right? But just for clarity, what are we asking for here? Just so that tonight, what the work that needs to be done tonight gets done around ELDC.
So, yeah, this includes increasing classroom space and building the ELDC without referendum. So it is more of an extension of the consensus that happened last board meeting. And just to add more to Minerva's, we do need to have a clear plan and pathway of what we want to see so that we can also save money during that planning. And so by seeing what's going to happen in 2 or 3 years' time, this is not, we're not looking for a great configuration the next school year and so forth, right? But this clear pathway opens up what exactly is the design process, where is the money going and how it's being planned. So it is a long-term strategic planning.
So just so that I can, I guess, clarify or try to clarify to the board what I'm understanding is they're not dead set, this is how reconfiguration's gonna go. What they need right now, and not right now, but in 2 weeks, is if they're gonna do reconfiguration, it will cost a lot of money. Before they can even look into how much money that will cost, they need, Dr. Garcia Sanchez and all of the directors need permission from the board to even entertain the idea. So I think this is more of a preliminary, hey, do we have permission to look into these options and see what bids might look like, to see what the cost would be, to have an architect give us an
To
assessment.
give the community an option to be able to be a part of what that might look like, so that we can talk. You know, those things, so that we're opening it up. Right now, we don't have that, but we could have that moving forward. But at this moment, we don't have that permission to be able to do that.
So let me ask you a question, Armir. Based on how the resolution is now, if we decoupled ELDC and the grade center reconfiguration and we made them their own agenda items, does it impact your timeline to do ELDC? And I guess this is for Tammy as well, because she has to figure out the buildings. Like, can you plan for reconfiguring Huntley and the ELDC without at this exact, and not even saying this exact moment, but if one were to pass and the other half were to fail, would that impact your ability to build ELDC? I still, to be clear, fully plan to support both, but does it impact one to cut them apart?
The only thing that is cut apart from the ELDC is what needs to be done at Huntley, which was talked about earlier. By ELDC vacating Huntley, the small spaces between the classrooms that are currently biddy bar bathrooms have to be renovated to be offices or storage. There's also small bathrooms at the end of the hallway that need to be renovated for older kids, to be bathrooms for older kids. Those are the things that have to be done. The rest of it is really in planning for the grade centers. So short answer, no, they are not specifically tied together. It is all part of the 5-year, or not 5-year, excuse me, that's my normal term. The long-term plan and the entire forecast of what we're looking to do in the district.
So then I would, at this point, based on that answer, seek consensus from the board to split ELDC and grade center reconfiguration into 2 different items that we can then consider and look at the next board meeting.
Can I I have a question.
Yes.
So it sounds like they're saying that if we don't separate them, we run the risk of not getting accurate quotes or something like that for the building or something. There will be something different with the quotes. Is there a possibility of keeping them together, but somehow ensuring that there is a whole process in place once Huntley is taken care of, where we are soliciting community input, getting plans together, like, that there's a lot more
I guess,
transparency.
Tammy, I will answer first for you real quick, if that's okay.
Yeah,
You
like
are
phases.
on this board, Mark's on this board, we are all on this board. None of these individuals in this room get to do anything on that project without at least 4 of the 7 of us agreeing to it. So they can't not do the community conversations and do the things required, because that's something even previous boards before you guys got on expected with Mitchell. We expected with ELDC. We're now expecting with the superintendent search. So I mean, that's not the culture and climate that this administrative team has ever had when they do a project. They are always looking to bring members in. Now, I think what happened is because they had to get permission to look into it, they had to bring it to us first. So then obviously it did look like, oh my gosh, they just sidelined us outside of the entire process. Where I think it's similar to when we went and had the conversation with Sycamore about ELDC. That was not our attempt to kick you guys out of the conversation. We just had to fact find so we knew which way to pivot. This is again just where a committee came up with a plan. They brought it to the board to say, hey, can we look into this plan? So nothing is dead set. We're not voting to make reconfiguration happen next meeting. We're voting to allow the administration to look into options to then bring you guys in as the community to decide, debate, and figure out what we can do to holistically help our students.
And there are risks to decoupling, correct?
I mean, the risk is that we could vote one down and vote the other out. But besides that, I mean,
That's the only risk, I guess I
As
just
far as
wanted to
I'm
make
aware
sure
of.
I was understanding from Amir.
Yeah, on a financial standpoint, if we, let's say you decouple this and then we move forward with a regular HMS without the programming of a grade 7, 8, but a program of 5 and 6, and then eventually 2 years down the road or 3 years down the road, you change the mind to become a grade reconfiguration, then we've lost money and we've lost planning and design and architects. So that's why having this blueprint will help us.
so public comment is done. You're not allowed to speak anymore. Thank you.
So, Amir,
No, you're not, and you can be removed if you continue to do outbursts.
so barring, is it a problem for you to put this in two different documents, two different agenda items for next meeting? So that I understand what you're talking about in here, but it looks like at least some of the public and some of the board members don't. Can you put it in two different things?
Or can we amend it?
Can we amend it now?
Amend it now, so we at least get the ELDC portion done.
Well, this is just,
And
either way, it's just,
the HMS portion. that
it's
was-
just information either way.
Right, that's, yeah.
So can we amend it and then we can act on it next?
So when you bring it back for action, your amendment will be on there, they'll read the correct one. So you don't have to amend it here, they'll amend it on the action.
Gotcha.
Thank
So
you.
do we have consensus to bring this back with the amendment that is just for ELDC and Huntley Middle School renovations?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Two different things.
Thank you.
Well, no. So Huntley still has to happen. It's
No, no.
founders and,
But yet, I was requesting to be, still include Vision 428, but it's its own separate item. So, because they need permission to get the committees together, have the different meetings with us, with the communities, with.
okay.
So
then we're seeking consensus to split them.
Because we're just talking about allocating funds so that they can look at this holistically and plan for what does ELDC look like and what does Huntley look like if we're gonna go one way and keep Huntley in its current configuration versus if we're gonna explore the grade center approach, like how would that change the process? So I think we're opening up funds to allow them to pay the architects and whoever to have these two separate options that then we can start discussing and including for a community conversation, here's what we're facing.
Yes.
Here's what's happening, right?
Yeah, we're in agreement on that.
Okay.
But the second item I'm talking about is that last part you just said. It's just to even have initial conversations about it needs to be put in front of us because there will be money spent to do that. So if we don't include it next meeting, then we're not clearing people in the back
Sure.
row to start those conversations, to see, hey, how do we actually do it? It was great, they spent lots of time, nothing taken away from the team back there. But it was great to have the document given to us saying, here's an idea. But to actually put more time and effort into that idea, we need to clear them to do it. And that would be a separate agenda item next meeting, so that we can at least say, hey, here's permission to go do some research.
I think part of it too is I think we need to look at the wording with the grade center reconfiguration, just so that it very clearly states that we're authorizing permission to look into it. We're not approving the reconfiguration. I think it's important that we make that clear. I know that was your guys' intent, but just so that you know, when all of our parents from Founders take a look at the next board meeting's minutes and everything when it gets posted on Friday, they know that's what it is. So do I have, thank you anyway, so do we have consensus to split ELDC and Grade Center reconfiguration into 2 agenda items?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
All right. And then do I have consensus to bring both of those back for next meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
Does anyone have any other final comments, questions before we move on to item F? Hearing no other comments, questions, concerns, this next item is probably gonna be some really fun conversation. So I'm just letting you guys know, if you would like to go home and get ready for bed, now is my time again to let you know you can.
Hang out.
All right.
Thank you. We love having you. Oh.
Not you guys, sorry.
Oh my God, I'm on this side now.
All right, looks like everyone wants to stick around, so we'll move into item F. Oh, okay, good, they don't.
I would also like to
Go.
go home.
Oh, yes, sorry, Maria.
Pre-calc study.
Exactly.
As discussed, there's not a lot of time between now and finals. Go home and take care of yourself.
Okay, great. Have a great day.
Because she carries it around like as big as she is.
It's bigger than her.
All right, we'll move into item F, budget discussions. This was submitted by board member Mark Charvat. So, Mark, I will let you kind of go into what you'd like to discuss.
All right. When it comes to the budget, I think it's important for District 428 to be 100% transparent. Transparent is a word I use all the time. When it comes to the budget and the upcoming tax levy discussions this board is going to have here in a couple of weeks. When we passed the budget, this board did not, in my opinion, have all the necessary data to make a 100% informed decision on the budget. That's the reason why I voted no. I wasn't questioning necessarily the individual expenditures or line items. I simply did not have the individual expenditures or line items that I needed to know the dollar figures for. Now, there was some criticism from staff that I was requesting budget information, namely the chart of accounts and department budget requests. I have no regret because I firmly believe that all budgetary matters are a matter of public record and should be easily accessible to the public. Now, I'm happy to say that attached to tonight's agenda, the public can now see at least a portion of what went into the budget that was passed by this board, albeit after the fact. You can see last year's requests compared to this year's requests. You can see which numbers have increased and a few numbers have actually decreased on line items. My initial observation is that each of the schools in our district, the principals and assistant principals, submitted budgets that are pretty much appear to be in line with last year's budget. I'm quite happy to see that. However, there are some huge line item increases in some of the department budgets, like Student Family Services, Security, Superintendent's Office, Teaching and Learning, Technology, Buildings and Grounds, and Athletics, that I still need to get answers to. I'm not going to burden the board with each line item by any means, but I encourage each board member to look at the department budgets that were finally made available to the board and the public at my request. So thank you to the staff for providing this so the public can see it now. Now, let me state specifically, I'm not trying to put the kibosh on any budget increases, but I will be seeking out clarification as to the reason why some of these line items are increasing, sometimes 3-4 times last year's level. The funding sources for these line items, whether it be grants or property tax dollars, I want to get some clarification on. I just want to get answers. So I will put my questions in an email to staff and maybe even set up a meeting with Armir to go over these line items. Also, what's not specified in these budgets is future staff positions. How much more things are going to cost the district in terms of staffing. I've had constituents that when they heard about the initial plans for the property tax levy telling me, how many more people is the district hiring? I don't have an answer to that. How much are my taxes going to go up because of it? Regarding new staff positions, I know in the past, the board has not been made aware of future staffing requests until March. But I would like to see if there's a possibility that the board could get an estimate of new staffing and related new, I'm talking about new staffing specifically, not staffing we already have, prior to the tax levy discussion we're gonna have here in a couple of weeks, and we'll pass in the first week of December, second week. Now, the reason I bring up the budget is because it's directly related to the tax levy that this board will be approving in December and discussing at our next meeting. Now, I've been informed that district administration is seeking to keep the property tax rate the same. Words are important here. While that may sound good, it's very important for residents to understand that keeping the tax rate the same when you have an EAV adjustment of 9.51% for just about every property in the city of DeKalb, this will represent a 10.7% increase in tax dollars paid to the vast majority of residents that live in DeKalb, specifically in DeKalb Township. Multipliers are based on what township you live in. For those who live in Malta, it's going to be even more than that. You will see a 13% hike based on the proposal one of the proposals we're looking at. My house alone, that will represent an increase to the district line item alone of $370 approximately. For comparison, the CPI is 2.9% according to documents provided to the board. Now, what upset me specifically is that this board has been told by administration that the plan for the tax levy that we're going to present here in a couple weeks will not be including a plan to hold the taxpayer harmless. That means your taxes would not go up. At the last board meeting, I requested that the board be presented with at least an option that we consider a tax levy that would hold the taxpayer harmless for consideration. Usually around December, you get 4 or 5 different scenarios, usually about 4 with different levy options. But I want to make sure that administration does provide this board with at least an option that the board can consider to hold the taxpayer harmless. Understandably, I know there's a lot of issues when it comes to the cost increases the district has seen, but it's hard for me to get beyond a CPI that is 2.9% while increasing taxes on our residents at 10.7%. So I'm just gonna make that clear when it comes to the budget going forward. I'm looking forward to maybe having those options presented to the board. In addition to that, I realize if we do go with a hold the taxpayer harmless option, that certain budget cuts may have to be made. I would like to see those presented as options as well. And I'd like administration to look at that specifically and have each department head perhaps look at that and present that to the board as well. Every budget, there's always some sort of fat in the budget. You look at your own budget at home, you're like, we can cut that, we can cut this. Maybe you don't want to cut this. There are some areas we could probably cut. I would like administration to look at that, department heads to look at that, and at least provide our residents with an option to hold the taxpayer harmless. Remember, the property tax bill that you get from the district, or at least from the big property tax bill, 60% of what you pay goes to this school district. So when you're talking a 10.7% increase, that's a hefty amount. I don't know about you, but if you've renewed your insurance lately, you've seen your premiums skyrocket, you're having double-digit cost increases for your health insurance, your homeowner's insurance, car insurance. I don't think this district should be piling it on if at all possible. That's what I have to say.
In looking at what Mark put into this agenda item, the meritorious budget award and the budget manual, I'll talk about information that I also asked for before we voted on the budget. And I didn't get it, and I still haven't gotten it, but Mark's done the work for me, so I don't have to worry about it. But when everyone in the back row builds a budget, they don't just grab it out of thin air. They have all those documents here. So I'm a little confused why it wasn't presented to us along with their budget, so we can look at it and understand why they're asking for money. everybody needs money. I mean, none of us can operate our operations without money. So just so we can understand, and sometimes we can debate it, sometimes we can use it to defend it. Because as you notice, there are people in our community that come up and say, hey, why are you doing these things? And we'd like to be able to defend them. So we only have 2021 here. Is there a document for 24, 25, or 24, 25 that we can look at?
We do have the budget, at least Amir provided us with the budget as far as the department requests, 24, 25, and then 25, 26. So you can see the increases. That's the longer one. This was just populated today. So I'd like the community to look at this so you can see how each department has changed.
But you've received that?
It's hard.
I think what JJ is asking is if just the budget awards specifically, because we have been awarded financial awards every year since I've been on the board. So he just wants to know, because that's the 2020 to 2021 one, that did we get one for 21 to 2, 22 to 3?
Right.
Like,
No, we haven't.
You can answer it.
Please.
but yeah, you do have to answer at the mic. You know the rules.
So that was a one time where we did complete a budget book. It is 117 pages. It was done 1 year, and CSBOs have changed since then. So, but it is definitely my plan to kind of update it for the next budget.
Thank you.
So I think there's a lot to unpack with that. And the one thing that does concern me, like obviously as board members, like we have a duty to the students and we also have a duty to the taxpayers we represent. So like we have to be very cautious about what we're going to levy. But it's more nuanced than just, oh, we're increasing by 11%. Like there is an effect that the taxes will go up, but that's also in part because people's home values go up. And that's not a number that we designate. That's a number that gets done by the assessor. And so we've held our rate flat, and for, I think, six straight years, the district lowered its levy. And so there's an effect, when you lower the levy like that, we've now gone into a lower tier as far as state funding is concerned, because we're effectively under levying. We could take more, but we haven't. And because we've done that, we've actually lost access to other state funds. And part of what I think the district has done very well strategically over the years is position themselves to take a maximum advantage of state funds and federal funds that are available to us. And we have to be cautious when we're looking at this levy. What are we taking and what's the long-term effect? Because we could try to hold the taxpayer harmless, right? But what happens historically when the district has done that? When the district has lowered its levy, the Park District has raised theirs, or Kishwaukee has raised theirs. You have the other taxing bodies that if they see one other body lowering a levy, they're going to try to jump in and get it. So like effectively, you're asking us subsidize all the other taxing bodies by lowering our levy to such a degree that we leave so much money on the table that it then affects the services that we're providing. And one of the things that's unique about the school district versus these other taxing bodies, these services we are mandated to provide by the state of Illinois, by federal law for students with IEPs. So if you see students that might have individual nurses that the district has, we have to pay for all that. It's not as simple as, well, we just won't asphalt the road this year if we're the city, for example. So we have to take this into account for long-term planning. If we underlevy and underlevy and underlevy because we want to give taxpayers $100 a year in relief or something like that, when their home is worth $100,000 more than it was a few years ago, what is the benefit to the students that we're tasked with educating by doing that? Because I just don't feel that we could underlevy enough that anyone would have a substantial impact from that, because it'll get taken by one of the other taxing bodies. And overall, you still have to think about the reason that they're paying more is because their house is worth more. And we've done our part to try to provide some form of relief. As new developments have come on the south side, the district has gone back and asked for less and less. It wasn't that long ago when the first referendum for the high school got passed in 2008, and the district borrowed $108 million to fund that. Then the recession hit, the bottom dropped out of the economy, EAVs were reduced significantly, homes got foreclosed on, and the local tax base eroded right after we took on this massive debt payment. And so for year after year after year, the district had to go back and increase their take just to cover basic expenses. There was no setting aside of funds and things like that for investment in things like the ELDC, which went by the wayside because that was part of the original referendum. So we have to take a very long-term approach to making sure that we have funds available, because if we under levy year after year after year, and then something happens, we have to go back to the taxpayer 5 years or 6 years in a row and up that levy and take the most we can get, and their budgets have already adjusted to this lower rate. So like I feel like we're doing our best to keep this reasonable. And when the district could provide relief without sacrificing services, they did that year after year. And I just feel like this year, inflation is high. I know the CPI is 2.9 or whatever, but I mean, our insurance rates went up 40%. That was $6 million. I mean, that's a significant sum that's coming out of operating budgets and things like that. So like I want to give taxpayers as much relief as we can possibly give them, but we have to do it in a very targeted manner so that like as new properties come online in the E-zone and we're getting new revenue, then we can start talking, is this a year that we can responsibly lower that levy because, we've been able to replace funds from these other sources. So I think I agree with the concept of as much relief as possible, but like I don't foresee a world where we can ever hold them truly harmless, because we'll just cut and someone else will just take that piece of the pie. You know what I mean?
Well, the years we've held the levy, the taxpayer harmless, the district did not have a lower levy. They collected more money still in those years.
Well, the gross, but not the rate.
Significantly a lot of money in those years that we held the taxpayer harmless. So, I just want to correct you on that.
So, by what you're saying, we hold the taxpayer harmless, you're saying that my property tax bill, say next year,
Right.
would be the same as it was this year.
For the district line item. We can't control what the city does. They've already announced.
I understand that, but you're even admitting that it's costing us as a district 2.6 or whatever % more to operate. So you're suggesting we're going to try to lose money?
No. The district, if you hold the taxpayer harmless based on, I haven't seen the exact final numbers yet. They're gonna be presented here in a few weeks. But I want an option that does hold the taxpayer harmless where you pay the same amount. The district, in the past when we've done this, has collected more money every single year we've done that. Significantly a lot more money. They could have given us better tax breaks. I was standing out there in front of that microphone a couple of years ago, pointing this exact same situation out, where they could have actually given the taxpayer more relief those years, but it decided not to do so.
I'm not understanding how the maths, but we can talk about it later.
Well, that's why what I'm basically asking is an option. Now, the board could reject it, but I want to at least have that option presented to the board with scenarios. And the other option I was gonna suggest is one that increases the dollars paid by residents at the CPI level 2.9%. So that matches what CPI is, so.
So then I will, at this point, hearing Mark's request, we'll make them two separate things. We'll start with the first one and just go down the line. Do we have consensus to have an option presented to us at the next board meeting or whenever Armir is bringing it to us, to have an option that holds the taxpayer harmless?
As a consideration for the board to decide among the other options as well.
Just, it's that little table you made us last year, it's just, that's one of the columns, is what we're.
Right.
Well, I'm assuming you're a yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, second one, do we want to see a column that is an option that keeps it just at an increase of CPI?
Yes.
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 Wouldn't that raise the levy? If that would increase it from where we're currently considering doing it, right?
It would be commensurate, you'd see 2.9% more on your tax line item dollars.
So you're talking about not our actual levy rate, but.
No, I'm talking about what every homeowner, business owner would pay.
I think he's
on their
meaning
line
increase the levy by 2.9%, right?
item. No, the amount of the average, I'm talking about the homeowner. I always wanna keep the homeowner in mind because we talk about rates and that kind of stuff. People look at the line item that they're paying, that would increase the
Okay,
amount.
so like if I had a $100 bill, I would see $102.90. Okay,
correct.
so he's just wanting to see it increase.
What it looks like for an average homeowner, is that what you're asking? I'm not sure I understand.
To lower the levy
collective.
to where we go down.
Oh, okay, based on
Not
the.
to zero,
I see,
but
yeah.
2.9%.
How much we would have to reduce to equal, okay.
Yes, our mayor.
Thank you, Arlene.
All right.
If I'm nervous about it, you know he's gonna be nervous.
So, we do not assess each homeowner's tax bill. We do not calculate the taxes. Even what we present in December gets changed in March, because that's when the county will actually submit their final assessments, EAVs, and all the review boards items. It'll be an impossible task to have 7 townships with a variety of their EAV increase to get each tax bill up to 9%.
Well, that's understandable, but this year, we actually are in a fortunate situation where all the townships, as compared to previous years where you had like Afton Township at a 1% multiplier, DeKalb Township at a 9% multiplier. They're all relatively close this year in terms of the multipliers from each of the townships.
We don't determine the multipliers either.
No, we don't determine, the Illinois Department of Revenue determines the multipliers, and that is a.
And 2 years ago, we did try to do a weighted average because we have 7 townships with such a variety. And some people in DeKalb itself saw an increase, and the other part of town saw a decrease. So it'll be we cannot do that as a taxing body. We can only levy by the amount, and then even the tax rate itself will be determined by the county in March.
But so let's say the average among the 7 townships would be a 2.9% increase for the taxpayer. The CPI level, right?
So we can, so we can do what we mentioned, like a levy of 2.9, we can
Right.
present that option.
Yeah, across. Just an approximate, I'm not expecting exacts, and I know it's gonna vary depending on what township you're in, so.
We can do that. An option of 2.9.
Okay. Any further discussion? All right, hearing no further discussion, we will move into the superintendent report by Dr. Garcia Sanchez.
I feel like we were pretty overloaded with what we just heard, so I'm going to be really brief. First and foremost, thank you for coming out. Thank you for being as supportive as you've been to the district and for all of your, all of our discussions that we've had. But more importantly, well, definitely. So just wanted to give you guys all a reminder, all you all at home and here, we'll be having parent and teacher conferences coming up the week of Thanksgiving on Monday and Tuesday. I highly urge everyone to ensure you have set up your time to meet with your child's teacher, making sure that you've taken a look at their grades, you've taken a look at their behavior, you're taking a look at their attendance, and then having those good one-on-one conversations with the teachers. I know the teachers are all excited about having you guys there. They're preparing, and we would definitely like to see you all out in our buildings that week right before we have Thanksgiving, to be able to give thanks for a really good reason, because our kids are doing great in school. So thank you all for coming out, and I'm going to pass it back to the president.
All right, do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Real quick, do we get to what's coming up on Saturday?
Oh, yeah. Just a reminder again, we do have our community listening session for our superintendent search on Saturday. That will be at Mitchell Elementary School from 1 to 2 o'clock. We are also planning to record it. So you guys will be able to watch it afterwards if you would like to. So, if you
We want
can.
people to come so we can hear their thoughts.
Yes, please come
And
out.
that is the purpose of the listening session, is for us to listen to you.
All righty, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, everybody.